This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' three-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.
G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. As always, brought to you by the Ausmerican Aces. It's Dunks here, one of your hosts, and joining me on the line is my bestie, Adsy Treloar. Straight off a win as well. He's up and about, the big fella.
I am up and about. It's a bit funny because last year we seemed to do, if you win, I win. Now it's kind of on the flip at the moment. I don't think we've won the same week, which is not ideal because I didn't mind last year, although you guys won more games than we did. But hopefully this week. I mean, big game for you coming up. We'll touch on that, and another big one for us as well. But it's good to be on again, mate. As we always say, we look forward to this little time slot that we got, and usually we spend about 20 minutes talking before we actually start the recording, and we literally just went straight into it. So it's exciting.
Well, that's all thanks to the clubhouse boys, mate, because Brado and Tommy were held up with them. Obviously, Munster's been late a few times, and he holds us up, pushes us back, and we just cop all the stuff that they obviously leave for us. So we're the good guys here, I reckon.
I'm gonna not give him any slack because I know he's a Bulldogs fan, so he can do whatever he wants.
Oh, that's funny. Well, how was your week, mate? Other than footy, how was your week?
Yeah, it was good. It was a short turnaround for us. So, as you know, when it's a short week, you don't really do much. So, mate, what did I do? Anything exciting? No, because we played on the Thursday, so we went from Saturday to Thursday. So, we're pretty much in at the club every day. But I've been progressing a little bit on my keyboard. I didn't give you any tunes prior to.
No videos.
But, no videos. Trying to learn with my left hand. That's probably the hardest thing that I've trying to do at the moment. But other than that, I didn't really do much. The weather's been pretty good here. So when I say good, I mean the sun's been out. I mean it's freezing, but the sun's been out. So just trying to enjoy the weather and whatnot. And then obviously the game came around. So yeah, mate, didn't really do much at all. What about you? How was your week?
Well, I must admit first before I touch on mine, I've been getting these updates. So Adam Treloar finished a workout basketball. So you must have been playing a bit of basketball over the last few days.
Oh, well, yeah, if we're going to talk about I guess we won't talk about the game. Yeah, I do. So Charlie Clark, the big chookster, fancies himself as a basketballer, and he came around and wanted to play me one-on-one. So first 21 wins, and I dominated him. And then one of my other mates, Cooper Shoebridge, wanted to play me too. So I dominated him. Other than that, I've been getting some shots up in the backyard. I've been going around saying that, and I genuinely believe this. I don't know what you think, but I genuinely believe I'm a better basketballer than I am footballer. So I fancy myself against anyone. So, the challenge is out there for people who want to come around and verse me because I sent the challenge out to Chookster and he came around and I smashed him. So, that's why the basketball. That's why the basketball on the watch. It's pretty funny to track that.
Hey, it's pretty impressive because I get all these updates. So you've burnt 248 calories on this 2 days ago. If you can see here, Adam, he's burned the 248 calories. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's a you know me, mate. Anything I do, I don't go half-hearted. I go as hard as I can. So when I was locking down Chook, I was going real hard. So yeah, but mate, I haven't been using my watch for as much as I usually use it when I train and whatnot. But I've been a little bit slack in that regard.
That's all right, mate. Did you end up getting a new one when I sent you the voucher? Did you get a new one?
I did. I got a new one. It's the fat
sweet.
head. So yeah, I appreciate that. For those who, if you don't remember, when Josh asked me what did I want for my birthday, he sent me a voucher. So no, mate, the watch is here. So the only thing is, I must have put it on as in the wrong way in terms of, you know how typically it's like this. That's the normal way you
Yeah.
hold a watch. It's upside down, so I have to put it on the other way, which is a little bit weird. So maybe it's just me and my idiotic ways. But yeah, it's a good observation by you, me playing a bit of basketball. But that's probably the only excitement I've been getting throughout the week. Actually, no, the fact that the NBA playoffs are here, it's been pretty good. And actually, no, you know what else was exciting? You actually sent me a trade in NFL Fantasy, which I've been yearning for a very, 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 very long time, because we're in our keeper league, and I've been hanging to get rid of Najee Harris. So we actually made a trade, which was really exciting for me. That was probably the most thrilling part of the week.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm glad that you're happy and I'm not, but that's always the way that it goes, mate. No, but my week was good too. Our week was a bit different to yours because you obviously played Thursday. We played Saturday. So had mum and my uncle up. The old man's still busy on the farm, so he hasn't come up yet this year, but he comes to all the Melbourne games and whatnot. So hopefully get him up here soon. But it was a bit of a different one. Obviously played Saturday night, so had one day off on Sunday, and that was really it. So Sunday for me was a bit of a cooking day, mate. So I did a roast, so Sunday roast. I've been doing that the last few weeks. Nice little pork crackling roast, and I made a slice. So Tipper and I have been doing this slice making. So she made a caramel slice last week, and this week I sort of made like a cashew, almond, honey kind of slice with the dark chocolate melted on top. So that's something that I did on Sunday that was a little bit different, mate.
That sounds elite, minus the dark chocolate. And you know what? When we did that dark chocolate regular chocolate debate on the potty, your cousin Paris actually sent me a lot of love about supporting me and my normal chocolate, dark chocolate. She thinks dark chocolate is disgusting, as I do. But I've got no doubt, mate, the way you make that slice, you'd make it pretty good and it tastes elite. Do you guys try and get someone to judge you or rate you, see who wins? Because if it was me in my household, it'd be competition. So surely you guys are competing.
Yeah, well, it's always a competition between us. So we're like, oh, what's better? Mine's probably more healthy and ticks a lot more boxes. Hers was very good. Like caramel slice was, it was unbelievable.
Well, I would say, going off the top of my head, because you've gone out there and what'd you say? You did almond and what? Walnut?
Almond and cashew, it was like a honey, coconut oil, chia seeds, like very healthy.
Okay, well, just because you've gone out there on a limb and you've tried to go the healthy version, which surprised me a little bit, because I'm not saying you're a bad eater, but I'm not saying you're a bad eater at all. I'm just saying you don't mind, like you can portion size your treats. Why didn't you just go like a regular, I don't know, normal slice rather than 6 different nuts and friggin' dark chocolate?
Only because it was probably one of the first ones I saw pop up. So I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't really made something like that before. So I was kind of keen to do something like that.
And you've been doing your weekly going out for the restaurant and trying to, that looks fun. That looks elite. What's been your pick so far?
The pick of them, well, I've only posted about 2 of them, but I took Tipper. I reckon I told you a couple of weeks ago with remember Noz's recommendation to that place in the city. I can't remember what it was called. Soko, maybe. But last week I took Tipper to a Chinese restaurant that I got. Charlie Cameron actually recommended it to me, so I went there, and it's right near where the new casino is being built in Brizzy. So it'll be a pumping area, I reckon, when that's done, obviously, and everyone starts to come in there. But yeah, it was nice to get in there and try that feed. And now it's Tipper's turn this week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, that's something I've got to do when Kimmy gets here. That's really cool. Another quick observation. I've noticed that, are you in a different room, or have you set those shoes up differently?
I was going to ask if you realised that there was anything different in the background, mate, because I've actually got new blinds. And I've turned my shoe rack around the other side because you gave it to me about my disorganisation last week. So I've put all those shoes away and just left a couple of boxes there.
Well, it looks good. Oh, for what it's worth as well, did Tipper vacuum the house within the last week from when you sprayed her last week?
Yeah, she vacuumed it today. So we're all good.
Well done, Tipper. I've got no doubt she would have listened to the potty and gone, wow, I've let Josh down, but that's good. I'm glad. No, well, I suppose we move on to the footy unless you got anything else Anything else fun you want to share with me at all?
No, mate. Nah, nothing else.
Well, we'll start with your game.
Yep.
Because we'll start on a bit of a downer out of us too, because obviously you didn't get the 4 points. I was able to watch most of it as well, which I love the fact that I can watch it. Just talk us through it. It obviously seemed like a really tough game, probably from halftime onwards. You started off like a house on fire. Obviously, conditions were tough. You guys felt like you played the conditions in the first quarter really well, and then obviously they just adjusted and were just too good in the end. And I think the margin was skewed a little bit. I mean, they won by 26, but to me it looked like, or felt like, it was a lot closer game than that.
Yeah,
I think it was 26 or something along the lines of that. So how did you? What's the fallout been? What's the talk of post game?
Yeah, it's obviously disappointing to lose another one at home and whatnot, but yeah, I reckon you summed it up pretty well. They adjusted to the conditions better than what we did. At times we rushed ourselves like it was dry footy, potentially taking a mark and giving a handball rather than going back and using it by foot a little bit better and getting it into our forwards to advantage, because they like to drop off the Cats. So we didn't adjust well in that regard. And in saying that, though, I felt like we won a lot of the indicators of the game, like the stats side of the game. We won a lot of things that we wanted to win, and felt like if we won those, it would have gone a long way to us winning. So, there was a lot of green on the stat sheet, but unfortunately didn't go our way in the end. But yeah, as I said, I feel like at times, the decision to kick or handball wasn't probably right. And then that obviously then relayed the ball, gave the ball back to them, and then they went forward and used it a lot better than us in terms of the way they built the ball up and then got to the inside 50 and scored. So there was a lot of opportunities that we created early on in the first quarter, I felt. So it was disappointing not to, convert those to goals. We could have been a few goals up in the first quarter, though, rather than just being, 10 points or whatever it was at quarter time, or a couple of points at quarter time. So little things like that always get you, and they come back to bite you at the end of the game. And unfortunately, we didn't get the result. But again, I feel like we're still playing good enough footy to take it up to anyone in the competition. And in saying that, we've played 6 games now, and we've played probably 5 of the top 8 teams at the moment. So we're playing some good teams, and we were lucky. We went down to Melbourne and beat Melbourne at the G, which is a massive achievement. But then obviously not winning at home is disappointing. So we look forward to hopefully bouncing back this week against the Giants.
Yeah, I think it's a good analysis of the game. I mean, that's definitely what you just said there. It definitely looked like how it played out, and obviously they adjusted quite well after half time. And again, like, you are right. Unfortunately, that happens to a lot of the good teams from the previous year. They seem to get a pretty tough draw, especially early on. I remember when we made the grand final in 221, and then 222 came. We felt like we were playing every good team early on every week. So that is a tough thing. After fallout from this game, what makes you think, or what do you believe now playing against Geelong separates them from, the best of the best? I mean, at the moment, I feel like they're the best team in the competition, and they've beaten us. Obviously, in Gather Round, they beat you at home. They're undefeated at the moment. They play a pretty good brand of footy, but they don't really have, other than, you probably think of Jeremy Cameron, who is probably their superstar, but, you look at the stat sheet or whatever, you never see like one player absolutely dominate. What is probably the most impressive thing from your point of view playing against them?
For me, I think the most impressive thing is that everyone, I feel, knows their role and plays their role no matter what. Like, they won't get reward some weeks, but they just continue to do it. And they know exactly at any certain time. Like the other night, for example, no one really knew how much it was going to rain, but all their players adjusted really well to the conditions. And, sometimes they play a lot of tricks, as you know. Like, tactically, they send a winger to where a half forward should be and a half forward to where a mid should be. Like, they do all these things that you just like, wow. Like, it's pretty incredible the way that they're so organised, but they get that from the experience that they've had together. So there's no question as to why they're one of the best teams this year and have been over the past decade, because they're so well drilled and so well organised that no matter what situation is thrown at them, they'll be able to adjust and complement each other the way they do.
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree more. It's a good answer because that's what I think as well when playing against them. You look at their names that go through their middle. You look at their defenders. I mean, you're spot on. They play their role to a T, and they play a system that suits their strengths, which is a reason why they're so freaking good. And they're actually a good team to watch. And I think we get them later on this year, so that'll be a challenge for us. One other question I want to ask you: what do you think the difference is in your team in terms of how you guys are playing, or whatever it may be, between your best and worst? I mean, when you're playing your best and when obviously you're not playing your best, what do you think is the reason why? What is it? What is, is it, I don't know, test the ball, or is it, I don't know, what do you believe it is?
Well, I don't feel like we're playing that badly. Like the last 3 weeks of our pressure, everything that we've, aimed to do and do well when we win is there. It's just that we probably it hasn't been as consistent. So that's probably the thing. I feel like we drop away with our pressure and, that side of the game, rather than, the scoring and all that kind of stuff comes off the back of that. It doesn't happen just naturally without pressure and, relying on others, relying on the backs to get big kills and intercept marks to then be able to win the ball back and then get it up the field. No, it's not that. It's keeping it in our forward half, territory-based game, winning those 1v1 contests and then kicking a score. So the pressure element to the game is the most important thing for us. And I feel like at times when that drops away, that's when we allow other teams in. But like I said, the last 3 weeks for us have been really good. So I don't think we're playing bad footy. I think we're still trending in the right direction. It was just unfortunate we got a loss on the weekend in, terrible conditions. And, we'll look to bounce back, as I said before.
Yeah, no, good little insight. I think most people will probably agree, and can't wait to see you boys bounce back. And you're one of the teams that gets to play on Anzac Day, which is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going down tomorrow early on in the day, and we're going to do a walk around the memorial and spend some time in Canberra, which would be great to just see and be there. And we've done it ourselves, mate. Remember when we walked through there and. It was pretty special to be, or it's awesome to be playing on Anzac Day, obviously after the main game. But really look forward to the night and what it brings for both teams.
Yeah, I can't wait. As I've touched on before, I think Giants are right up there as one of the best teams in the competition, and they play Canberra really well. So as you said, it's going to be a beauty. And I do remember that Anzac Day game that we played when we played. Who did we play? We played Brisbane. Did we play Brisbane? Who did we play? No, we played the Giants.
We played Giants, yeah.
That's right. And I don't typically walk much before a game. And I remember you wanted to go to the memorial and we walked, and I swear it felt like it was about an 8K walk to get there. But we both went out and had a pretty good game and we won the game. So, maybe I advise you to go for an 8K walk day of the game and you get the chocolates.
Yeah, I just remember giving you that ball and from the midfield, you're on the wing and you went and broke the paint and kicked the goal, mate. I remember celebrating that one. That was good.
I do remember that. And that was when you jumped about, you would have been 10 metres away from the ball and you decided to go for it and you freaking dislocated your shoulder or whatever you did and you're out for freaking 10 weeks or whatever it was. So
yeah,
don't be doing that again. Do not be doing that again. Our game, which was obviously Thursday. We played a couple of days prior to you, and obviously played against the St Kilda team, who are in good form. I mean, I'm surprised to know they've only won 2 games. I think it's 2 games. Let me quickly have a look. Yeah, I swear they'd been plumb. I could swear they'd won one more game than that. But anyway, we knew that they were going to, come and have an intent around the ball and want to take us on and, use their halfbacks the way they do, the way Brad Hill runs off halfback, that Wanganeen Malira, Jack Sinclair. We knew that that's what they wanted to do, and I felt like we were able to, first and foremost, win around the ball, which is probably one of you mentioned before about your pressure and contests and how that really sets you guys up. I feel like that is, most clubs, but that's well and truly us. And when we can, dominate around the ball and be good around the clearances, it gives our forwards a good look at the footy, but it nullifies them from actually getting the ball. So, the fact that we were able to do that pretty much from the first bounce and, barring maybe a 5 or 10 minute patch in the second quarter, we were able to, arrest momentum that they were trying to shift their way and just put in a really good four-quarter performance. It's probably, in our wins we've had this year, we've probably had, we've won 3 games. I reckon we've probably put in 3.5, four-quarter performance in all of them. It's now obviously about doing it consistently in games where we're not necessarily, things aren't going away, but we're still competing and we're still getting the things done that we want to get done. So from a winning four-quarter point of view, it was very pleasing that we were able to play the way we did and let the scoreboard look after itself.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game. I remember from the start, I thought you boys were on because I just felt like the way your midfield and your half backers, especially, I want to talk about Digger Dale's game. I thought he was back to his best, and the Saints really let those guys go a little bit. I felt like, they want to saturate your forward half, so they got all their numbers back, but then it just allowed JJ and Digger to just get busy and use the footy so well.
Yeah, mate, you're spot on. Absolutely spot on. Diggers obviously was subbed the week before, and obviously there's been some clear challenges for him. So for him to come out and play the way that he did, and it's not about the 39 disposals that he had. I think it's about how damaging he is when he gets the footy. I mean, when he's kicking it the way he's kicking it, he's arguably top 5 kick in the competition. And, he was back to doing that on the weekend. And there's a reason why we want to get the ball in his hands. And you mentioned JJ as well, who I feel like's been really underrated for us this year and not really spoken about externally enough, which is okay because we obviously rate him extremely highly. But, he's back to some of his best footy, and he's such a cool, calming head down there and an abundance of experience that he gives the other defenders. I mean, it really helps set us up the ground, and the fact that he can still use his legs as well. And when teams give us that, I mean, if we can utilise that, we're going to be a hard team to beat because we've got guys like Bailey Dale and Jason Johannesson and even Bont and these guys kicking the ball inside 50. We're going to be a really hard team to beat. So you're right, mate. It was very pleasing for those two to have the game that they had and really set us up going forward.
And yourself, mate, another big game from you. I know you don't want to talk about you as always, but I want to ask you one thing because I know you'll talk about this. What about your little handball throw? The little one that you practice off the side of your hand. You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because, I swear we got to do a craft class at the club because everyone jokes about it with me. But again, I'm always going to fight tooth and nail. Lockie Neal does it. A lot of these superstars do it. They handball outside because they're just so much better. I mean, it wasn't a throw. Hand on heart, it wasn't a throw. I handballed it. It just looks like a throw on TV. And my reason being is I'm a left-handed handballer. So I naturally go left-handed and I'm a lot quicker and faster and sharper on my left hand. When I rewatch the vision, it doesn't look like it, but in the game, I could swear someone, I think it was Brad Hill, was right there on my ass. So I thought if I were to grab it and go right hand, I wasn't going to have enough time and he's going to chop my arm or something. So I thought as the ball's there, in my head, I was like, I'm going to go left hand here, even though the guy's there. Went left hand. Funny, I was right in front of the bench and the crowd right in front of me goes, throw. And if you get behind the goal vision, which you can't, I actually turned, because I handballed a truck, I think, and truck kicked it. And I turned to the crowd, looked at him, and I was like, why would I throw it? Like, I just did that. I was like, why did I throw it? And it was in front of Sando, who was the sub, and Doggy, who was on the bench as well. And after the game, they came up and were pissing themselves because they seen me and they know I joke about it at the club. But no, I thought it was pretty good.
I just remember you being here at my house in my kitchen area practicing that in the preseason when you come up here with King.
Well, mate, if it gets you out of trouble, sneaky little deceptive handballs, mate, I'm always going to do it. So I did watch that and it was pretty funny watching back. Yeah, they actually played it on the live screen. So I did see it on the live screen as well. And I'm thinking, yeah, they played it on replay and I was like, that actually looked like a throw. But I would never, why would I throw the ball? I would never throw the ball. I'd never blatantly throw the ball.
Well, you got away with it, mate, even if you did throw it. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you've done it. So, but no, you must be quite happy with the way you're going because you are playing some really good footy at the moment.
Oh yeah, I am. But I'm like anyone, and you know me better than anyone. You know I'm only happy if we win. So if we don't win, and I'm not and I'm I guess playing okay, it doesn't. I don't care. Like I just want to win. So
Yeah.
the fact that I can contribute in, in winning teams, it makes me happy. And I definitely feel like I'm at a good level now, and I'm well and truly focused, and I'm getting the games, and I'm feeling good. That's the most important thing for me. The fact that I'm feeling really good, and prepping myself week in, week out to get up and perform. And I'm just loving playing. Like, that's probably the biggest thing that I'm enjoying at the moment. I just really enjoy playing, and don't want to take a game or anything for granted, because you just never know when it's your last one. And being 31, I could never know when it's my last one. So just really enjoying playing footy. But yeah, I appreciate it, mate. Any other ripping questions from my games before we move on to the other footy?
I just want to say thank you on behalf of our fans for the little A celebration too, mate, before we move on.
Yes. So when I kicked it, I thought of it straight away. But when I kick a goal, my immediate reaction is, come on. Always got to do the come on. And it was, the thing is, you can't even see the head. It's just like this. But the thing is, I have thought about it. I give it a lot more when and I reckon you're the same. When you kick a goal in general play or on the run, like, you give it a little bit more celebrating than when you have a set shot, because you kind of know if you're going to kick it. So, as I kicked it, straight away I was like, oh, I'm going to do the A celebration here when I've celebrated. And then I had like 4 guys come and climb on me. So I didn't want to throw the A up when they're tackling me. So then once they were all done, I was thinking in my head, hopefully on the broadcast, they're still watching me go back to the centre bounce. So I'll just throw the A up. So yeah,
perfect.
There you go. I'm glad I did it.
It was very good, mate. It was very good.
Now we're just waiting for you. We need you to do it. We need you to get forward and kick a goal.
Yeah, I know. I need to get forward. I'm getting into the spots, and just the boys aren't giving me the handballs. I'm spewing.
Yeah, I did see there was definitely one on the weekend as well where you almost, a lot of the time, standing like 25 meters away at the top of the square, kind of for a slow kick in. And I always think, come on, just shank a kick or something to one of the players kicking it, so you're standing there by yourself and it just falls into your laps and you can kick a goal, because I just want you to hit the scoreboard. But hopefully this week. Anything else? Anything catch your eye? Anything exciting? Any news?
Yeah, I've got one that caught my eye, and I want to get your opinion on this. It's not controversial or anything like that, but I've noticed a few players doing this. Oil on arms. Baby oil on the arms. Do you think it's back, or is it something that you do?
It's not something I'll do, because I just wouldn't, because it just annoys me when it's on my hands. Do I think it's back? Well, yeah, I do, because Bont does it.
I've seen Bont. I think I saw Toby Green, and I saw Jai Caldwell do it on Friday night.
Yeah, he does it as well. I mean, the one positive it gives you is it makes your arms look ripped. So
yeah,
with the glistening light shining on and what do they use? Is it baby oil? Is that what they're using?
Yeah. Don't tell me you've never done it before.
I've actually never done it. You know what? Can we do a rock, paper, scissors right now? And loser has to do it. It's going to be hard. You're going to be, come on.
No way.
You know what, actually, for our listeners, we're going to, all I'm going to say is, can you please, on our next, whatever post we put up, can you please just comment who you want to have their arms oiled? I already know they're going to say you. Trust me. Everyone wants to see, because you're obviously the good-looking one out of us two. So they're clearly going to say you. And whoever's got the most votes, you have to do it. Come on.
I'd love to see it on your pale white arms, especially in the middle of winter at Marvel Stadium. It'd be nice.
I'm still hanging on a little bit. Yesterday was a really nice sunny day, and I was out in the sun training. But I think that's fair. So I'm waiting to see. I can't wait. We're going to see. We're going to see you win the nomination. You're going to have oil on your arms this week, on a nice cold Thursday night in Canberra. Stop shaking your head, mate, because once these comments come in, you're going to be doing it. Anything else catch your eye other than the baby oil on the arms?
Yes, I want your thoughts. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, the captain's challenge. So that Essendon Adelaide game
Essendon.
on on Friday night. The captain's challenge, righto, review the holding the ball. They think it's holding the ball, set shot. Who knows what happens? I reckon it's something that they should look at.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I think it was obviously holding the ball. I just don't think the call, they just didn't want to make the call. That was the thing. So if we went back to the captain's challenge, it would have clearly been holding the ball. But yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, I like what you're saying.
I think the worst thing the next day to hear from the AFL, oh, we got that wrong. If you were a part of that club or that team, you would be filthy. You'd be pulling your hair out.
Mate,
it's like
it's happened twice for Adelaide last year. Remember with their shot? Remember the shot on the who was it? Ben Keys had a shot from the boundary line. Yep. Nah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Especially in a late situation like that. There's got to be a challenge. But it's just hard. Like how do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know what the boundaries are and the criteria and whatnot. But I just feel like there should be one captain's challenge. You don't have to use it, and it's only allowed to be in a certain time where the game's on the line. I don't know. I just feel like there should be something there because to be honest, if I was a part of that team, I wouldn't want to know if the AFL think it was right or wrong the next day. Though I would be filthy. So
it's a shame because it was to everyone watching. You were watching clearly as well. Like everyone was like, that's holding the ball. It wasn't like it was like you weren't erring on the decision because it wasn't like, is it holding the ball? It was like that's holding the ball. They're going to pay holding the ball, but there was no holding the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. I mean, it is a hard one, and you're right. If I was Adelaide, I would freaking hate to be in that position, but We'll see. I reckon the AFL will look at something because the more it happens, like I guess controversial calls like that, the more we're going to want to look to get it right because we seem to do that a lot. Are you all about the hype train with Harley Reed as I am?
Yeah. But watching some of his, I didn't get to watch the game, but watching some of his highlights, he looks like. I've seen a lot of people say a generational player.
Oh yeah, I think Matty Lloyd come out and said he's a player you get every 15 to 20 years. And I know it's so much praise on a young kid. I mean, we seen this with Matty Rowell in his first 3 to 4 games. I think he polled 12 out of 12 votes or something, and obviously injury and whatnot had hurt him. So hopefully his trajectory just continues to grow because mate, he's freaking. If he wasn't the best player on the ground, because I didn't watch the game, but as you said, I watched the highlights. Mate, he could have kicked 6 and set up a couple more goals. And it's just amazing watching because, you love playing against some of the best players, but then you love playing against the next generation. Well, I do. This is how I feel. The next generation of stars that come, and when I retire, hopefully it's a few years' time, he'll obviously be well and truly into his prime. And the fact that I was able to see him early and then watch his career go, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting for the league.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. I feel like a lot of players will be conscious now of what he's capable of, especially around the source, whether or not, when we come up against him, we put more time into him because you can't actually stop that unless you really focus on him and negating him.
Yeah, I think it's great that just the West Coast Eagles as a whole, I think it's great that they're an exciting team to watch. Their last 2 weeks of footy have been really exciting to watch, and I think it's really I just think it's great for the AFL. Obviously, you want to see, you don't want to see teams struggle too much for too long, and they won a premiership only, what year is it, 224, only 6 years ago, and obviously their last couple of years has been a challenge, but the fact they've got now Harley Reed, Elliot Yeo's back playing elite football. I mean, he's been battling with injury for the last couple of years. So it's actually exciting. And it's exciting for WA footy as well because, those derbies, they're games you look forward to. I mean, you're obviously playing your own derby yourself against the Gold Coast Suns. So it's, it's really good for footy. But mate, other than that, there wasn't really much. The Carlton Giants game was pretty good. Did you watch any of that?
Nah, I only got to see the start of that because we were playing after it, so got to see the start. But apparently it was a good game.
I think they're a very good side, Carlton. I mean, you obviously played them in your first game this year, but Oh, they're a very, very good team, and the Giants are no easy team to beat. I reckon they're going to be right up there come the point in the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very tight finish, I feel already, because, some teams are, well, if you're off a little bit in any game, you'll get beaten by anyone. So it's going to be a cracking year this year.
It will be. I have a question for you. I've seen this question get asked quite a bit on socials. It just comes up in my feed. Everyone's been talking about the best midfield in the competition. I think best starting midfield. So don't think as a whole, think starting.
Yeah.
In your opinion, who do you think is the best midfield in the competition? So my opinion, I'll go first because I'll let you think because I'm putting it on you. I'll let you have a second to think. I think just so we're going purely three players at the centre bounce. I think the Port Adelaide midfield, so Rosie, Butters and Horne-Francis, they would be my three. With all due respect to a couple other midfielders out there, but that'd be my three. What about you?
Well, mine would probably be you blokes, to be honest. Bont, yourself and Libba. I feel like you all complement each other, and that's not pissing in your pocket or anything like that, but I feel like that midfield is pretty well rounded. But yeah, like you said, Port comes to mind. Collingwood comes to mind. Melbourne comes to mind. There's a lot of good midfields in the comp now. And then if you add in the ruck as well, then I think, you're probably looking at a whole different dynamic. But yeah, it's hard when you come up against, I don't know. So some midfields have really good stars in their midfield and then other role players, but that even is still a good midfield because those role players will complement their stars. So like Geelong on the weekend, like Danger's in there and the other guys like Tanner Bruin and the likes like O'Connor and they just play their role.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because you see the question get asked quite. I've seen it. I've literally seen it pop up pretty much every day the last couple of days. So it's an interesting one because there are a lot of good midfielders out there. But yeah, I think also whilst I'm looking at this fixture, I reckon I tipped West Coast and you tipped Freo.
Yeah, you did. And I reckon I tipped North and you tipped Hawthorn.
Well, as we know now and our listeners know, Brado's going to be pumping up that up at the end and letting us know who actually won. But we'll move on to the next round, which is exciting. Anzac Day round, which, unless you've got something else you need to say about the anything that's cost you mind. No? Okay. Well, exciting round. I love Anzac round. You get some great matchups. We obviously start with Anzac Day Eve, Richmond v Melbourne, which is weird on a Wednesday. Richmond and Melbourne have just had a bye and then they're going to play next week on Saturday. So it's going to be one game in however many days that is. But yeah, it's a good game. Who's your tip?
Richmond v Melbourne. I think Melbourne win that one.
So do I. I always feel like they've really now. I don't know how long has that been going for now. The traditional Christmas Eve time slot. It's like
Anzac Eve.
Anzac Eve, Christmas Eve.
5 years, maybe. I don't know.
I'm just thinking about Christmas already, mate. I just love it that much. Well, I feel like they do it really well now. It's such a cool build up to the game, and you see they typically stand near the big jumbotron thing where they line up next to each other, and yeah, it's really cool. And it's being at Collingwood for so long, it's definitely one of the rounds that you miss the most being a part of because that's actually it's bigger than footy, and I think the AFL does a great job of recognising all the Anzacs and celebrating all the Anzacs. So it is pretty cool. The Richmond Melbourne Anzac Day Eve. We'll do the Essendon Collingwood game last because we'll do some predictions and talk about it a little bit. So we'll go to your game, the Giants Brisbane game. Obviously, tipping Brisbane. We'll touch on it after this. I'll let you have a little. We'll do a preview afterwards. So you're clearly tipping Brisbane. I'm tipping Brisbane. Port Adelaide, St Kilda, Adelaide Oval Friday. That is a good game. Port Adelaide, St Kilda. Who are you thinking?
Port Adelaide. Yeah,
off for loss. I'm going to go Port. Bloodstone Arena Saturday. North Melbourne v Adelaide.
I'll go Adelaide.
Yeah, I'll go Adelaide too. That's an interesting game. MCG was a ripper. Geelong Carlton at the MCG.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna tip Geelong.
I'm gonna go Geelong as well. I'm going the same as you. Optus Stadium, Freo versus the mighty Bulldogs. I'm going the Bulldogs, obviously.
Geez, let me have a think. I'll tip the Dogs.
Mate, it's going to be a tough one. Gold Coast, West Coast, People's First Stadium.
This is an interesting one too. After the way that the Eagles played last week, this might be our only difference. Oh, geez, I'm going to go. I'll tip West Coast.
Okay, I'll go Gold Coast then. I was going the opposite to you. MCG, last game of the round, Hawthorn, Sydney.
Sydney.
That's a good one. Hawthorn will have a bit of confidence at the after their win, and I like them at the MCG, so I'm going to go Hawthorn. Before we get into our game, we'll preview the Anzac Day blockbuster that we love. Essendon versus Collingwood.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracker. I feel like the Bombers are playing some good footy and the Pies are back, so it's going to be a huge game. I think Collingwood will be too strong, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle across all lines. Like, I think someone that hasn't really been spoken about, and I saw a couple of little stats, or someone wrote about it on Twitter or X or whatever you call it. Ben Mackay has kept all his opponents to 1 goal this year. So at a new club, playing his role, obviously wanting to come in and have an impact, he's doing really well.
I think he's severely underrated. I think he doesn't get spoken about enough. I'm glad you mentioned Ben Mackay. I mean, he obviously, when you're not, his last few years, obviously, when you're not in a winning side, it's hard to get recognition. And obviously was challenged at North Melbourne. But, mate, he's a good player. He's a very, very good player. When he played against our forwards, he really stood out. So I'm glad you gave him a bit of recognition there. Both Mackay boys are guns of the competition, and they do a great podcast as well, for what it's worth. They have their own potty, so hopefully they listen out to the Ads and Dunks potty. So you tip Collingwood, how much by, and who's your Anzac Day medalist?
I'll tip the Pies by about 20 points, 21 points, and my Anzac Day medalist will be Geordie De Goey. Actually, that's an easy one. I feel like that's just a generic one. I'm going to go with Paddy Lipinski. He's in good form.
He is, and he's kicking goals too, that's a good one. I agree. I think Collingwood, I'm going to say Collingwood by 15 points. I reckon it's going to be a ripping game. I feel like Essendon's contest is as good as anyone at the moment. The heat and the pressure that they bring is been unreal. And Collingwood, we obviously know what we're going to get from Collingwood when they're at their best. They're a joy to watch. So I say Collingwood. My Anzac Day medalist is, I want to go left field and look after my boy, and I'm going to say Jeremy Howe. I'm going to say Howie. He's going to be a rock in defence, and he's going to take intercept marks, and he's just going to be unbelievable. So Anzac Day medalist Jeremy Howe. The other 2 games, obviously, we'll touch on our games, preview our games. We'll start with you, Manuka Oval, Giants, Brisbane. Ripping game. Cannot wait to watch this. Giants play Manuka very well. You guys obviously off the back of a loss. Giants back of a loss. Both of the two, when you're up and about, 2 of the best teams in the comp. Must be really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, exciting opportunity for us. And like I said earlier, we're looking to bounce back after a loss last week. But yeah, the Giants, they play a very attacking kind of forward territory game. Like, they like to handball like I've never seen before. It's almost like Richmond days when they were winning flags, like the way they handball and the meters gained that they get from their handball. So hopefully we get some opportunities off turnover, and we bring our heat that I talked about earlier. And that'll help us play our best footy, because if we get some turnovers and keep the ball in our front half and stop them from being able to build the momentum off the back half, then it should go a long way in helping us win the game. So as I touched on, also just an absolute honour to play on Anzac Day, and we look forward to spending some time in Canberra tomorrow and throughout Wednesday and Thursday to honour the Anzacs.
Yeah, well spoken. You must be. Well, when I think of the Giants, I agree with you. I think of their attacking brand of footy, and it's freaking exciting to watch. But it's hard to stop at times. I think a lot of their games as well is won and lost in the midfield, and they've got a really, really strong midfield. Another strong midfield that, it could be one of the best in the competition, led by Tom Green. You must be excited for that challenge as well, coming up against a really strong midfield.
Yeah, always. And they've been, the midfield probably since, I reckon, 2016, 17. They've always had the clean, skillful type players. You're a part of that early days, but now you're not. But I feel like they're always a tough one to match up on. Like, they use the ball so well and they're clean, and they're all top draft picks too. So they've always been such a solid midfield group. So to challenge ourselves against a quality outfit is going to be awesome, and look forward to it.
You reckon you might get I know you always get roles, but you reckon you could get a role potentially on Tom Green? I mean, they're so not that they purely rely on Tom Green, but they're very heavily relying on him around the ball, especially to win clearance and contested footy. You reckon you'll have a maybe potential matchup on him?
Yeah, potentially, and we might line up on each other. I don't think it'll be a full-on tagging role because he's quite good at he's not just inside, like he's actually quite good at his spread and his outside game. So when it's like that, it's a bit harder to, unless you do it fully, to run with someone, and at the stoppage try and negate him, and then away from it, just let him go. I feel like if you do it, you do it properly. So I haven't been tapped on the shoulder to do it properly yet, but we'll probably line up on each other as we're similar sort of height and weight in that kind of category. So look forward to that challenge. I
can't wait, mate. I'll be all eyes on the screen. Can't wait to watch you get work, and hopefully boys can get the job done.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. I think it's going to be a bit chilly too, so look forward to the freezing cold Canberra, as we know, as a lot of us know, what it's like down there. But yeah, can't wait. Let's move on to your game. Talk about it. I know we've been over to Perth. It's a tough mission to go over there and get a win against Freo at home.
Yeah, you're right. It's very hostile. They've played some really good footy this year. I know their last couple of weeks obviously haven't been ideal. They were really stiff a couple of weeks ago against Port, but then obviously on the weekend, no doubt they'd be very disappointed with the result. So, we're in a similar position to how we were against Essendon the week prior to this game on the weekend, where they were challenged all week after their game against Port, and they came out and absolutely smacked us. So, if that's anything to go by, we know what we're going to get from Freo, and we know the crowd's going to be right behind them. So, mate, we just have to, support each other, but go out there and just play our brand of footy. And obviously it's going to be really hot early, and there's going to be a lot of momentum shifts in the game. But if we can, play our game style quicker than they can, and that is contested footy and defend really well, we're going to give ourselves a great opportunity. So one thing I do know about the group is boys do love travelling together and seem to play really well when we travel together. So really looking forward to getting over there on Friday, and we got a captain's run out there. I know, so there's a few Ads and Dunks fans out there in Perth, so they'll be hopefully at the captain's run. We'll come over and say good day, but yeah, hopefully we can go over there and play a really good game and beat a quality opposition on their home deck. That'll be a great result for us and great for the confidence of the boys going forward, because I feel like our best footy is really good. So hopefully we can do that, and really looking forward to the game.
Yep. So that's a Saturday game. Do you head over a couple of days before, or just the one? Talk to us.
No, I think we'll go on Friday. This week. So we've gone from playing 3 games in 12 days to now having like a 10-day between games. So I think, I don't think we necessarily have to go a couple of days prior. I think the rest, we're kind of day on, day off schedule at the moment. It's been really good and really refreshing for the boys after, as I said, playing the 3 games. So, yeah, head over there Friday, mate, have the captain's run, play at night. So 7:30 right now it says in Melbourne, so that must be 5:30 Perth time. So, yeah, we'll be looking forward to the game, and hopefully we get the job done.
When you travel over there, do you stay on Melbourne time, or do you go straight to Perth time? How do you manage that side of things?
No, I stay on. I go to Perth time. I love how I love when you travel. People always say that if you travel interstate or whatever it is, it's 7:30 here, but no, it's really 9:30 in Melbourne, so I'm going 9:30. Well, you're not, because you're in the time zone. So I'm very much, if it's 5:30 over there, then it's 5:30. So my body might not agree, but I try and just live like that. What are you like, actually? That's a good question. Are you like that?
I've sort of chopped and changed a little bit. Last time I stayed on Brisbane time, But I don't know. I feel like you said, it just becomes a bit of a mental battle when you're trying to change times or whatever you do. So you might as well just live on their time and be normal like that.
Yeah, legit. I couldn't agree more. But it won't change in the way that we play. Hopefully, as I said, we go out there and win the game. But that's it for my game. Hopefully, we get the job done. You do too. My favourite thing of the week, which is Brooks. No, sorry. The bloom of the week's my favourite thing of the week because we love Brooke. Thanks again for always looking after us. I know she would have been happy this week because we got the job done. She would have been stressing less because we know she loves her Bulldogs. So good job, Brooke. What are we calling it? Give love to a player segment? Is that what we're calling it?
Whatever you want, mate. It's your segment.
Well, I'll start then. Give love to a player. And I'm actually going to start with a Collingwood player and one of my teammates who I played at the Giants and I played at Collingwood with, Will Hoskin-Elliott.
Yep.
Yes, I actually think it was one of his best games he's ever played on the weekend against who they beat Port. And the thing about Will is he's the ultimate team man, has always been the ultimate team man. When I played with him, he played pretty much everywhere other than inside, but he did even come inside a couple of times for centre bounce. But he's what you call it, Mr. Fix-It, the old utility, as you would call it back in the day. And his game on the weekend and his game, well, really his season for them has been severely underrated. And, it's a joy to watch him, reap some rewards because he's such a team-orientated, loves his teammates first, does anything for his team. And the fact that he goes out and plays an absolute ripping game. I think he had 20-something plus and kicked a couple goals and took a ripping mark. It was just nice to watch and great to watch. And I know his teammates would love that and appreciate that, and they would be, shouting that all out internally with the reviews. So it's great to, it's great. It's great to see him still playing really well at the ripe old age of 30 and contributing extremely well for the team. So that's the person I'm giving love to.
I like it, mate. Mine is who I touched on before, Ben Mackay, just because of the fact that, like I said, he's just got to a new club. He's been underrated. No one really talks about him. He gets his job done every week, and they're winning some games of footy. So it's good to see he's going well. And I know he would have copped a lot of flack for leaving North Melbourne and going to Essendon, but he's going to play in one of the biggest games on the calendar in a couple of days' time. So I'm sure he'll be looking forward to that opportunity too. That's
a ripping one. Look, there's so many we can name. Before we go to the bloom of the week, we haven't done a little 2-minute spill on the netball.
Oh, yeah, and the girls got up too. They had a cracking win.
They did, mate, and I was able to watch most of it, obviously, because I wasn't playing. So you've gone from Tipper being the best player on the ground in week 1 and then Lara probably being the best player on the ground in week 2. She was unbelievable. Some of her deflections and just the way she plays, one of her best games I've seen her play, and big part of the reason why they won in the way that they won.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to watch it, so all I've gone off is word of mouth. And yeah, from what I've heard, Lara had a cracking game, and well, they all played really well. They were up. I saw because when I got to the ground, they were up by about 10 at quarter time.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, geez, this is pretty good, like pretty promising. And then I remember, doing a few things, probably 45 minutes passing, and I asked one of our guys there to check the scores, and he said that they won by 3 points. So I was like, oh, how did that happen? But anyway, I was happy.
Yeah, happy as well. You know what? We got the job done, which is most important. I mean, an early win in the season as well is great. I don't think we had an early win last year, if I can remember. Obviously, you were supporting Adelaide, but it's great. It's great for the confidence of the girls. I feel like they got a really good mix. The fact that Kim obviously didn't come on. She's obviously been battling with her back injury, and I clearly am biased, but I think she's obviously in their best mix as well. But the fact that she didn't have to come on, which I know she came on last week when they were down, it gives me as a fan great confidence watching that because, I think the mix of Macy and Lara as centre and goal attack is really good. And, mate, love watching it. I mean, Casey actually sat and watched it with me as well. He's never watched a proper game of netball properly, like on TV, other than being there. So he's watched being there, but he's never watched proper on TV, and even he was getting into it. So it was a good game. I'll tell you what, though, the freaking Perth Fever, if they didn't send a warning on the weekend, I don't know what because they smacked the Lightning by 25 points.
Yeah, that was I saw that result and I was like, geez, they must be really good because the Lightning have just recruited 2 Diamonds players. Yeah. So they now have, out of the 7 on the court, they have 5 Diamonds players playing. So there's 2 players on that team or that start on the court that aren't Diamonds, which is incredible. Anyway, the Fever smacked them. So, yeah, insane.
They remind me of, the Fever remind me of like the Melbourne Storm of NRL, like the GWS Giants of the AFL, like as in they're always good. They're always thereabouts. They're always going to make finals and, you know, no matter how many years they've been thereabouts, they're always just there and they're always going to be a team like that. They're just so freaking damn good. I just hope when we play them, we beat them. But, I am loving the netball. We got a big game this week against the
Swifts.
The Swifts. That's right. The Swifts, who, they're a very good team as well. So I'll be looking forward to that one. Can't wait to watch that. But there's our little 2-minute spiel on the netball because we know some of our fans want us to talk about it. Bloom of the week. What's yours?
Mine, I'm going to start, and this is I don't know if you're going to have the same, but you probably won't. But mine is the Demon, Alex Demonor. He became the first Australian to defeat Rafa on clay a couple of days ago.
What? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
When was that?
He beat Rafa. The king of clay, mate, a couple of days ago.
Wow. So was that at the French Open or is that at a minor tournament?
It's at the Barcelona Open. I know Brado would have been Googling that while we were talking, but to having his little spiel at the end, but I got him there. So, so the Demon is my bloom of the week, but unfortunately, makes it worse. He got beaten the round after in the round of 16.
Oh, so no. I think that would be, it's a major tournament, obviously the Grand Slam, and then it's a major. So that would be, I actually had no idea. That's incredible. Rafa's like the GOAT on clay. So the fact that, did you say he's the first Australian to beat him?
It says here, because I looked it up, it says Alex Demonor has become the first Australian to defeat Rafael Nadal on clay with a straight sets win in the second round at the Barcelona Open.
Wow, that's insane. Oh, there you go. That's a good one, boy. You always seem to get better and better with your blooms of the week. Yeah. Mine's good. You were. Mine is good. I'm going back to the NBA, and I know Tommy probably doesn't want this, but that's all right. Did you watch the playoffs are back? Been back the last couple of days. Did you see today's game between the Lakers and the Nuggets?
I saw the end of it.
Mate.
Yeah, I saw the end of it.
Yep. So the Denver Nuggets were down by 20, and Jamal Murray hit a step back buzzer beater. It wasn't just a game winner. It was a buzzer beating game winner over Anthony Davis, who's one of the best players in the league. So that just shores up my confidence in Denver Nuggets winning definitely the West, and then hopefully, going all the way against Boston because that's my pick. So, the playoffs have been unbelievable at the moment, but that game winner, that's definitely my Brookes Bloom of the week.
Yep, and thanks to Brooke again for all her support. We'll move on to the competition, which we love doing, and we're going to send out another. We hope our 2 winners from last week got their kits already. If not, you got to make sure you message Brooke on Instagram, Brookes Blooms on Instagram, and send her your details. But this week's winners, so I'm going to read this one out. So I've got at Bree Spinner 1339. So the question or the answer was Ads gave love to Will Graham and Dunks gave to Sam Berry. Dunks was ropeable that Tipper didn't vacuum the house before she left. Dunks should definitely send Ads the trade for Najee Harris for how well Ads have been playing this season. Go Doggies.
Oh, that is great. That's good.
So that's one of our winners this week. So Bree, make sure you message Brooke on Instagram and send her your details, and we'll get the merch out to you. And our next winner, where is it here? Matilda Brooks. So Matilda.Brooks. So she's gone and said exactly the same thing. She's actually done it so well that it's got Dunks' question. So you know how I asked the question and then you asked the question about what did Tipper do? Anyway, so she's gone and broken it all down and done it perfectly, answered it well, and she's a Brizzy supporter, and the other one was a Doggy supporter. So we'll get around one each this week.
No, well done, mate. You're really good at that. They're funny. That's funny that The way that they answer that, I love that. You come up with a question. You come up with the good questions. What's the question for this week?
You've got to do one this week because you came up with last week and it was really good, and I reckon our fans loved it. So I want you to think of something this week.
Geez, you've really put. Okay. I'm going to say, what did Josh say? So this is the question, right? What did Josh say that he thinks is starting to be a trend now in the AFL with players and what they are doing?
I like it. That is a great question. Great question.
Do you have one? Or we're going to stick with that?
No, we'll stick with that. But I want our fans to say what it is, but then also say whether they like it or not. So give us your best answer. Okay. So we'll go through and read them all, and I want to pick out the best answers because that's the competition almost, like compete against each other for the best answer.
Mm-hmm. No, I like it. I like it. And I like when the fans send their answers through. Well, that's it, mate. That is it, unless you got anything else for me.
No, I don't, mate. That is all. And another cracking episode. We love jumping on and talking to each other and doing it for our fans. So thanks everyone for tuning in. And
I do have some corrections.
Hang on, Brado.
Oh, yes.
Hang on. About him.
We've already forgotten about Brado.
You boys did too well this week. There wasn't too much to correct because normally they're left, right, and centre. I did want to say Ads was right. The Saints have won only 2 games, but they've had some close losses. Round 1, 8 points against Geelong away. Round 3, 4 points against Essendon away. Round 5, 1 point against GWS away. And then Western Bulldogs flogged them 60 points at home. So a good win. And they beat Collingwood and Richmond. I want to get into the tips because one of you is going to be very happy. But
yeah, Adam.
Yeah, Ads had an absolute cracker because normally he goes the opposite just to I don't know if it's to take the piss or if he actually thinks they're going to win. But he's picked some absolute crazy results. So he picked Carlton over GWS, which is fair, and Carlton got the job done in the end. Picked West Coast over Freo. He picked
Fluke.
Hawthorn over North. Nope. And with those results, he's taken the lead in the tipping, which is pretty wild. And I do have a note here. There isn't a Christmas Eve game that you mentioned, but there was a New Year's Eve game. Ads would know this because he was a Carlton fan growing up, if I'm not correct.
Kicked 10 dunks.
He kicked 12. 12 New Year's Eve game in just his second. He had only played 2 senior games at that point in time. This was a preseason Anzac Cup game. New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1999. He kicked 12 goals in Carlton's 88-point win over Collingwood.
Imagine the party.
I had no idea.
That would have been great.
That's pretty wild. Imagine how short your preseason would have been cut to get up for the Anzac Cup game for New Year's Eve.
That would have been fun.
That's all I got for you.
All right, thanks, Brado.
Well, you're a good man, Brado. Thank you. I'll continue the goodbyes, Joshy. We can't cut out Brado like we did last time.
No, I actually loved how he come in. Then it was a very natural kind of entrance, which is awesome. But no, thank you everyone for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you all next week. And yeah, thanks again for all your support. Thanks, Adsy.
Thanks, mate. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' 3-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.